Fear. It is the pure embodiment of dread. That feeling that is always present with you. No matter where you go, it is always with you. It is an overwhelming force that will never go away. Many of you think fear is simply a temporary emotion that can be overcome. I feel sorry for those of you under this sad delusion. I know that fear is much more than an emotion. You see, we all believe we have our own fears, that we can simply overcome our fears by facing them. But how exactly do you face something that isn't there? Most have simple fears like fear of heights or fear of spiders, or even the very common claustrophobia. While all of these are physically real, if you fear something, how can you possibly face it? How can you possibly confront it? Some also believe we can control our fears, but how can you control something that isn't there? More importantly, something that you fear. The great Franklin D. Roosevelt once said that there is nothing to fear but fear itself. So what exactly is fear itself? It is neither human nor animal. It is neither machine nor flesh. It cannot be physically discovered. It cannot be physically seen nor touched. Through my own research, I have discovered what fear itself really is. Whether the former president meant this or not, I now know what fear itself is. It is an entity that feeds on the fears of everyone. It divides itself among the people of this world and takes on many different forms. Fear is a demon that, when transmitted into humans at birth, becomes stronger as the child grows. It amazes me why nobody ever wonders why we can control every human emotion except that of fear. Fear is uncontrollable because fear is not just a feeling that we get. It is a real, living threat to us all. You may be asking, how is it a threat? Well, you see, as we grow up, we obtain many fears. Since we never really forget fear, all of that fear has to go somewhere, right? With that said, allow me to stress that this is not a story I made up. Through my own observations and my own confrontations, I have discovered what I now tell all of you. You might be asking at this point where all this fear goes. Just as a person must get rid of things from his or her body, fear must come out eventually. What I mean by this is that if our bodies can no longer hold in the fear that we carry, the demon fear must be released. When we release these fears, they become reality. This may seem ridiculous to you, but doesn't it seem strange that when we fear we are not alone, noises begin to be heard? If you still aren't convinced, then why is it when you do hear these noises, they get closer? It is because fear, once released from its prison, it desires to feed off of your every fear. When it gets close enough, it returns to its host, but this time, fear is in control. The only way to truly face your fears is to give up. You don't have a choice. Allow fear to take over before fear makes short work of you. There are a select few that have the ability to truly resist fear's power. These poor people are the ones that meet the worst fates. Fear will never surrender. It will never go away, and it will never be forgotten. Fear will haunt you for the rest of your life. Just remember that every time you become afraid, he will get a little closer to you each time. Unknowingly, we are housing fear. Man creates it, and he wants out. That's when the fun begins. Why do we fight it? We cannot defeat it. But this isn't real, right? Fear's just an emotion, right? That thing that waits in the corner of your room at night, watching you sleep and waiting for you to release your fear isn't real, right? And that feeling that you're not alone, that nagging feeling that never goes away, And that man you think you see from your nightmares outside your window isn't real. Right? Whether you believe it or not, fear is just waiting for you to set him free. Soon enough, you'll have to face him. It's only a matter of time before I get to come out and play with you. Go ahead. Come outside. I'm dying to meet you.